He's gentle as a rose, and love can conquer any war. It's time to take a stand. Brothers and sisters, join hands. We've got to let love rule. Let love. We gotta let love. We've got to let love rule. We gotta let love. We gotta let love. We've gotta let love rule. Love transcends all space and time, and love can make a little child smile. Yes, it will. Oh, can't you see? Can't you see? This won't go wrong. But we gotta be strong. We can't do it alone. We've gotta let love rule. Let love. We gotta let love. We've gotta let love.
Let's hear you.
We gotta let love. We've gotta let love. We've gotta let love rule. Come on, Stephen. Gotta let love rule.
That is Pierre Gautreau and the Queen Street Band. Pierre. Who knew? Did you all know that he was a drummer? He was a drummer before he was a guitarist. Yeah.
And as of 8:30 this morning, he had to be a drummer again.
Yes. So, good morning. How is everyone this morning? All right. That was sort of okay. How is everyone this morning? There we go. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto. My name is Jonathan Zenz. If you are joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. Actually, here's what, if you're joining us for the first time, I want you to know something. We have done a little research because we knew you were coming. We have done a little research into you, and because you can find anything on the internet these days, right? And we've all found this wonderful, wonderful knowledge of you, and I think that it's time for us to share what we know about you. And as a community, for those of you who've been here before, why don't we tell them what we know about them right now? Okay, here we go. You are magnificent. You are magnificent. You are magnificent, and we know this about you because at the core, we know it about ourselves because all humanity is magnificent. All life is magnificent. We are the magnificence of life expressing right here and right now, and that's what we celebrate here every single Sunday. So let's all affirm together, I am magnificent. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am magnificent. Doesn't that feel good? He just lifts the energy of the room. Just lifts the energy of the room. So we're going to kick it into gear today with this great Jack Fowler song called God and Everything. Here we go.
1, 2.
The lyrics are on your song sheet. If you'd like to stand up and dance, you're welcome to do that too. There, you'll catch on. I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace. I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. Now we're going to sing, I know. I know joy, I know peace. I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I know God in everything. Namaste, 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 namaste. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I know God in everything. Namaste, 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 namaste. All right. Oh, I know joy, I know peace, goodness, love. We know these things because at the core, those are some of the inherent qualities of this divine creative energy that we call God. God, the infinite power, the infinite source of all creation, all that is. Not something out there, but something that is deeply within each and every one of us. We are that which is. We are the very expression of love, light, peace, power, beauty, joy, wisdom, knowing, all of it wrapped up in a beautiful package. We're all beautiful packages, aren't we? Yes, we are. So we celebrate this on Sundays in many, many ways. Part of it is to offer inspiration. I trust that we are inspiring. You know? Doesn't necessarily always work out that way, but we try. No, if we trust we are inspiring, then here's the thing. I'm never up here to try and make sure that you get it all. But find that thing. Be on the lookout today for that one thing that touches you. It may just be one small moment that just says, oh, I get it, and I understand now from a more profound and deep place. So be open to that today. I'm going to invite up to speak first one of our wonderful licensed practitioners here at the center. A licensed practitioner is someone who has committed themselves to live the high consciousness of the philosophy that we teach. They have committed themselves to living the philosophy and expressing the philosophy in everything that they say and do. And so we license them to be able to sit with people, and if you're working on something in your own life, they can work with you through that experience. So actually, why don't we go ahead, if you are a licensed practitioner in the room, why don't you go ahead and stand up to be recognized? Yes. Our licensed practitioners are here for you. Thank you. They are also available following service. If you need a 1-minute miracle, if you have something that's weighing on your heart today, seek out a practitioner following service, let them know what's going on, and they will know the truth for you right then and there in that moment. But here to know the truth, right in this moment, is a dear friend of mine. I knew him before I moved to Toronto, so many years ago, and it is always a joy to introduce him and bring him to the lectern because he always has very wonderful, inspiring, and profound things to say. So please welcome Fred Wimet.
Thank you, Jonathan. And good morning, everybody in the room. And good morning, everybody online. Feel free to scream at your computer and say, "Good morning, Fred," because I do when I'm at home. And most of the time I am at home watching the service if I'm not here. So my presence is here, even if I can't make it. Each year on my birthday, I make a declaration or an intention, set an intention. Now, for me, I don't do New Year's resolutions because my birthday is January the 5th. So a couple of years ago, my intention was, what does Fred like? Rediscovering who I am and what I like. Last year, it was authenticity, and I can tell you that authenticity showed up in many, many different ways. It manifested in a lot of different ways. I actually had somebody say to me recently, "Aren't you glad authenticity's done?" So this year I set a word and an intention, and I can tell you that it's manifested in many different ways, many, many different ways. And we're still early into the year. I'm going to share one of the ways that it did, that it changed something for me. And it's about changing our mind or moving away from things that no longer serve us. We have thoughts, we have ideas, believe it or not, that came from our childhood even, that we carry with us, and we don't even know why we're thinking that or where that came from. Often they appear unexpectedly. We walk into a circumstance, somebody says something, and all of a sudden that voice in our head that sounds like our father, our mother, our aunt, our uncle, our teacher, our school, our best friend, "You're not good enough." You hear them going, "Mm-hmm." And you're thinking, where did that come from? We hold on to those beliefs and those thoughts, and they manifest again and again in our lives. Partly because we have not done the work to eliminate them. We're sort of like traveling through on autopilot until we feel profound pain. Something is wrong. We're sad, filled with sadness, maybe anger, and then we start to look at, where is this coming from? That's often when we begin the work, when we're forced to. So I had this concept come to me in a really profound way. While I was eating turnip, divine mind has a sense of humor. So I was eating turnip, and I remembered that when I was a child, I did not like turnip. I had an Uncle Al. He was a kind-hearted man, a wonderful man. But he was of the belief that if something was on your plate, you ate it. So I come from a large family, so there'd be 10 of us around, and whenever he was around, he would make turnip, his favorite food. And he'd put it on our plates, and we'd stubbornly sit there and go, "We're not eating it, we're not eating it, I'm not eating it, I hate it. And all of us cousins would not eat it. And hours later, sometimes, my mother would say, "Just eat a tablespoonful," and she'd sneak them away. It was either that or we'd be there till 3 o'clock in the morning because we hated turnip. Then when I was about 33 years old, I went to a Christmas dinner, and I sat down, and I was taking stuff, and I put turnip on my plate. And I thought, I'm going to try this turnip. And I ate it, and I liked it. And it was really interesting because from that point on, all the story about how I hated turnips no longer existed. I couldn't fool myself and pretend I didn't like it anymore. I like turnip. My story changed forever, right? So our minds or our thinking is a lot the same way, isn't it? Unless something comes along and we try something new or have a new thought, we can get stuck into that, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. I'll tell you what works for me. This is interesting and I've shared this with some people as well in the room. Here's how I walk through life now, and here's how I can tell when something isn't serving me. I walk through life and it's good, and then it's not. And then I take a step back. I can tell you that sometimes I don't take a step back to think about what the circumstance is that's making me feel that way, because I'm the one making the circumstance. I understand that in this philosophy now. Our mind creates our relationship to the circumstance, right? But it doesn't feel good. Now, sometimes I just feel like walking around it, and I do, but I could tell you that circumstance will come back again. That thought, that feeling, that belief will come back again. So what I do now is when it doesn't feel good, I take a step back, and I look at it, and I think, what is it about me in my head that is making me feel that? Because until I learn to work through that and figure out what that is and get a new thought pattern about it, it's going to continue. That's how we get to be 70 years old sometimes and still have the same feelings and hurts and pains that we had when we were 16 because we haven't worked through it. You got to do the work. Wayne Dyer says in his book called Inspiration, I forget what he says. All my margins moved when I printed, by the way. So Wayne Dyer writes, he says, there is no way to be in spirit without a change in awareness. So when we accomplish this awareness, we give ourselves the gift of moving from being flawed, limited, lacking, and imperfect to being completely comfortable from our own magnificence. I can tell you this, if something is holding you back from your magnificence in everything, I urge you to do the work. Get rid of the thoughts that no longer serve you. Eat something new. And be your magnificence. Namaste.
Namaste.
And I have a bit of an affirmation here, so I'll say it once, and then I invite you to repeat it with me. With conviction. Okay. Today, I do the work to recognize my magnificence. And together, today, I do the work to recognize my magnificence. One more time. Today, I do the work to recognize my magnificence.
Today I do the work to recognize my magnificence. Take that in, breathe that in. The great news about recognizing our own magnificence is that when we recognize it within ourselves, we begin to see it in everyone else. It doesn't work the other way around. When we try to see the magnificence in others, it is clouded by what we know about ourselves. Everyone that comes into our field, into our experience, is a reflection of who we are. They are reflecting to us that which we are. So when we change ourselves, that reflection changes. For we are the perfect light and life of this infinite creative power. So breathe into that. Breathe into that. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. That's the whole song. So I invite us all to sing that together. I am a light. Here we go. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, I shine so bright, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And by knowing that I am a light, we know that each and every person around us is a light as well. So let's sing to our neighbors, you are a light. Here we go. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And so, let's take that energy, that light energy, into our heart, in the here and now. Allowing ourselves to be open and receptive in this moment, I now turn it over to Fred, who will lead us in affirmative prayer.
I know that right here, right now, there is one thing going on, and it is love, light, divine, peace, joy. And each and every one of us is the divine light, the joy, the peace. It is in our surrounding, it is everywhere, for it is who and what we are. And I know that this divine light, this thread that connects each and every one of us, connects us in such a profound way that we feel it, we see it. We see it reflected in our mirror, we see it reflected in our life, our health, our happiness, our joy. It is the truth of who and what we are, and it is what we are here to know, and it is what we are here to share. I'm so grateful for these teachings, this center, this philosophy that lets us know our connection to each other, to the world, and to ourselves. I release these words to the law of mind, knowing that it is done. And together we say, and so it is.
And so now we affirm all together, we are a light. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, we shine so bright. We shine, we shine, we shine, we shine. Thank you, Fred. And thank you to the band. Yeah, if you want to clap, you can clap. I think we're always afraid of breaking the energy that's in the room, right? Actually, I will, when I was in my ministerial intensive, what that is the last week of my training, you go to a week of intensive workshops, and all these ordained ministers come and they offer their workshops and their various takes on ministry. And I can't remember who it was. One of the ministers got up there, and I actually was kind of taken aback because one of the students had gotten up and given offered a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer, and at the end of it, everybody was so jazzed up, they just launched into applause, right? And that was the energy of the room. And then the ordained minister got up and said, "Please don't ever clap after treatment." And we all just kind of went, but that's what we were compelled to do in the moment. Like, why? So if you want to clap, clap. I suspect you'll want to clap for our special music today. I know, yeah. You know, so I will put it this way: that's old school ministry, and I don't buy into that. I'd rather we leave here with a great energy and a great feeling. So if that's what you're compelled to do, absolutely. Today's special music is a Pierre Gautreau original song, as he frequently brings, and I'm so grateful to him for bringing his talent. And especially today, I am grateful to know that he was born.
A long time ago.
He was born on this date. I'll let you determine if you want to say how many years ago you were born on this date. To you, happy birthday, dear Pierre. Happy birthday to you. Awesome. So without further ado, Pierre Gautreau and the Queen Street Band.
1, 2, 3, 4. From the moment you are born, the curtain rises on a new stage. There's no disguises. The marquise is one life only on an open-ended run. Give it all till your play is done, and don't just go through the motions like a zombie monster coming out of the ocean. Leave here with nothing in the tank and no one left to thank. 'Cause you said it all, been it all, seen it all, loved it all. Said it all, been it all, seen it all, loved it all. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the show. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the show. So live the passion every day that's coursing through your soul. And don't get hung up on the little things, or live just for the goal that will naturally unfold. Take your play out on the road. See what's there before you're old. Looking back on the show you've done, I hope you say it was a heck of a run. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the show. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Well, life is the show. So live the passion every day that's coursing through your soul. And don't get hung up on the little things, or live just for the goal that will naturally unfold. Whoa. 'Cause you said it all, been it all, seen it all, loved it all. Said it all, been it all, seen it all, loved it all. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Oh, life is the show. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Oh, life is the show. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Oh, life is the show. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the show. Go live that life. Thank you.
Pierre Gautreau and the Queen Street Band. Oh, life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the show. So there's a theme here today. I'm sensing a theme. How interesting that I would be sensing a theme. Okay. in this theme, where do I begin today? Where do I begin today? So here's what I'm going to start with. If I were to ask you, well, okay, no, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with this. Number one, I have just returned from being away from Toronto for 2 weeks. I was in Los Angeles for a week visiting my family, and I was in Salt Lake City last week at the Centers for Spiritual Living annual convention, which is a business meeting. It's, you go to the business meeting, it's not really about spiritual practice. It's about how do you market your center, all those questions. That are important from a business perspective, but you don't necessarily go for the spiritual experience of it. And yet there's inherently, because all of our business is approached from a spiritual perspective, there's spirit infused through all of it. So I always walk away with something. I always walk away with something. One of the questions that came up that we talked about this year at our business meetings is this. What is the global vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living? What is the global vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living? Now, this is something that's been published and has been talked about at every convention, every conference. It has been, we express it when we're there, and then we come back to our local centers and we promptly forget. Because a lot of the people in that room could not have told you what the global vision for the Centers for Spiritual Living is, and these are the leaders in our communities. Now, I ask you what the global vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living is. Does anyone know it? A world that works for everyone. That is the global vision of this entire organization. And you know what? I had to really wrap my mind around that this time, because I started stepping back and thinking, a world that works for everyone. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? There's nothing really tangibly specific about it. What is a world that works for everyone? And I can guarantee you that if I say, what is a world that works for everyone, to each and every one of you, each and every one of you would have a wonderful, unique answer. And you know what? When we are all individually living our own answer, we have created a world that works for everyone. That's what it boils down to. And so we stand firm in this idea that we are here to support unique individualized expression. And that when we do that, when we live that, we create a world that works for everyone. So that brings me to this question. Am I living the vision that I choose to live? Am I living the vision that I choose to live? Vision is a very powerful thing. We are very visually oriented expressions of life. We see things and we tend to be more immediately responsive to things that we see than things we perhaps hear. Unless you can't see, then you are responsive in other ways. But we tend to be visually stimulated very quickly. So if you had a vision for your life, and I imagine all of us, whether we know what it is or don't know what it is, we actually do all have a vision for our life. You know what your vision for your life is? You know how to identify it if you have not yet identified it? What do you dream about? What do you dream about in your life? And is it something tangible and specific? And I'm going to tell you that if you are looking to achieve that tangible, specific idea, you're actually a little bit off base. What? But I'm told that I should come here so that I can be inspired to live the life I've always imagined. And that is true. That is true. Go forth, live the life you've always imagined, but trust in the flow of how it shows up. Because when we set our minds onto this vision, the most important aspect of that vision is not what does it look like, it's how does it feel. And when we get in touch with how it feels and truly live in the presence of how it feels for us, regardless of the circumstances that show up, we are living our vision. We're living our vision. So, am I living the vision that I choose to live? Or am I playing a game that sort of seems to be in alignment with some far-off idea that I think I would like to achieve? Nothing is too far off to achieve. Not a darn thing. The spiritual leader of our organization, who I lovingly refer to as the Pope of Religious Science, he's a minister based out of British Columbia in Kelowna. and he was just reelected to a new 4-year term in a larger organization. So it's Dr. Ken Gordon. And he was on the closing night of the conference. He was the closing speaker of the conference, as he frequently is. He closes all of our conferences with something. He talked about I'm going to say canoe, and that's not what I want to say. What's the kayak? Kayaking. He went kayaking with his family. Sea kayaking, which is, I think about sea kayaking, it like makes my heart go into like palpitations, because I like to be on a very big cruise ship. I don't like to be in little boats on the ocean. And so he's talking about being out there, paddling along in his kayak, and he was off the coast of British Columbia, and they were doing a chain of islands, and I didn't get the specifics on the islands or anything, but he likened the concepts that we teach to a couple of ideas within his talk that I thought were very, very astute and profound for me. One of the things that I want to start with is he has a chart. When he sets up his kayak, they put a chart in front of them, right? So that the nautical chart of the area that they're in, so that they can plot where they are and where they're going. He has that, and then around his neck, he carries a compass, so he knows which direction he's headed at any given time. One of the things about how we proceed forward, and this is true of life as well, and I'm so grateful because it really goes in line with what you said, Fred, is that we may think that we're walking a straight path forward. That's actually not true. We're actually kind of zigzagging back and forth, right? Just like in kayaking. It's tacking, right? It's like in sailing, you tack to go a straight line, but you're actually going back and forth. It's called tacking. And so that's the way life is actually going. But we have to always make those course corrections. We always have to make the course corrections, because what happens if you don't make the course correction? You're going to be going along and you're a little bit off course. And if you don't make the course correction, pretty soon you're way over there when you intended to be over there. So we do that through, in this philosophy, we do that through a couple of tools. Now, the way he presented these tools I thought was wonderful. He talked about that chart that he lays in front of him. And he said, the chart is representative of the principles we teach. And the principles we teach basically are love only. I mean, that we really ground ourselves in at this center: love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. Now, there are the principles that Ernest Holmes put down on paper in 1927, and we talk about those principles, and I bring them up in services, and they're published in our Science Mind magazine every month, and they're very lengthy. I've never committed them to memory, I'm sorry. But if we look at those principles, they are very grounding ideas. They're very grounding principles for me, and I choose to live my life based on the principles that we teach. So the chart are the principles. That's the chart for life. The compass is faith. The compass is faith. It will always guide us in the right direction. It will always give us the knowledge of which direction we need to go so we can get ourselves back on course. So combining those two is very important to ensure that you are moving forward in the way that you choose to move forward with the vision that you have in your heart. Then he talked about, what if you only had faith without the principles? It doesn't matter if you know where you're going. If you don't have the chart in front of you, you're still going to get lost. And if you have only the principles without faith, same thing. You can never find your way on a chart without the compass. So how do we step back if we feel that we have been on the wrong path? And it's interesting that you said step back, because I was actually up there, I'm always considering what the practitioner is saying up in the booth next to Jim. Hello, and hello to everybody online. And I usually write my little notes out, and I wrote something. I asked this question: can you actually step back? Can you actually step back? Think about that for a moment. Can you actually step back? Life inherently is evolutionary and forward momentum. That's the way life unfolds. You can't actually ever step back, with all due respect. Pause. Yes, you can allow yourself to pause in the moment and look at your chart, look at your compass, and say, I know now how to proceed. And you make your course correction, which may mean that you're stepping to the side. and then you move forward. You can't actually ever step back. I also love that idea, because you're talking about if you were brought up as I was. If there's something on your plate, you eat it. Luckily, I never had anything that I really didn't dislike. I was not a picky eater. Well, there was a period of my life. My father will laugh at this. He's probably watching online. My father will laugh when I admit out loud that there was a period of my life when I was a very little boy where all I wanted to eat were bean and cheese burritos, and nothing else. Morning, noon, and night, I wanted bean and cheese burritos. But if there is something on your plate, are you required to eat it? No, you're actually not required to eat it. That's the great gift we've been given. We are each of us in a place of choice. We have choice. And so if you don't like what's on your plate, scrape it off and put on your plate something that you do enjoy. That's the great gift we all have, is to be able to have exactly what we want, exactly what we require for the best experience of life that we can possibly muster. And that makes me think about the formula for life. So I was in the bar, going all over the place today. I was in the bar of the hotel. Yes, ministers do drink, and especially in this philosophy, we like to have a good time. And so after the sessions are over, we party up in the bar, right? I don't drink that. Well, I do. Well, no, I don't. Okay, I admit I was a couple of glasses in at the point I had the conversation I'm about to tell you about. So Reverend Dr. Jim Lockhart came up to me. He's in retirement now, and he is what he calls a worldwide roving minister. And so he gave up his pulpit, and now he just travels the world. And his ministry, a lot of it is online, and so he posts all kinds of wonderful, beautiful, inspiring articles and things like that. But we had this discussion about faith, and about how faith at the end of the day, that's your compass, remember? Faith is your compass. How faith is, feeling and faith, which are basically the same thing. Think about that. Feeling and faith are basically the same thing. Are any of my practitioner students in the room? Yes. Feeling and faith are basically the same thing. Just remind me to talk about that on Tuesday. All right, because Thomas Troward, who was one of the inspirations for Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of our philosophy, basically said faith is at the root of all creation, and Ernest Holmes said feeling is at the root of all creation, or it's the other way around. I can't remember now. I'll make sure I know by Tuesday. But it was very interesting because they're the same thing. Feeling and faith are the same thing. And so your compass is your feeling space. Your compass is your feeling space. And so I've come up with this formula that I came up with in class about just over a year ago, which is this. Your thoughts plus your beliefs multiplied by your feelings equal the quality of your life. Your thoughts plus your beliefs multiplied by your feelings equal the quality of your life. We have moved so far beyond change your thinking, change your life. We've moved from that through change your beliefs, change your life, and we have truly stepped into change your feeling, change your life. When I feel good, and when you feel good, don't you look around and realize that everything that's coming to you and that's being experienced by you is in support of that good feeling? Yeah. It feels good to feel good, and everything that shows up is always based on our feeling space more than our cognitive capacity. So, we were having this discussion, and I talked about this aspect of feeling, and he stepped back and he thought about that for a while. I was like, I really get it. But I think I actually have a new formula. Uh-oh. Thought plus belief to the power of feeling equals the quality of your life. It's not multiplied by your feeling, it's to the power of your feeling. Because that means it's exponential in its growth. As you experience it, it's exponential. And it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows in your experience. Once you make the commitment to look at your compass and say, what is it I want to feel today? And allow that to inform your thoughts and your beliefs exponentially. So, our global vision is a world that works for everyone. And we achieve that by living our own personal world that works for the self. Now, this is not to say that we are selfish, because we get a bad rap sometimes in this philosophy for being selfish, because we think about ourselves, and it's always about the me. It's always about how am I showing up in the world, and that's important. And here's why it's important: because when we know who we are, then we recognize it in other people, and it puts us into that place of being able to help, to assist, to be in community in a profound, positive way. Far too frequently, I see people who are out there who don't have their own cup filled, and they're trying to fill other people's cups. It doesn't work. It does not work. If your cup is empty, you cannot give of yourself. So take care of the self, and everything else follows that. So that's why we get a bad rap, It's because it's all me, me, me. All we ever think about is me, 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 and that's not true. We think about others as much as we do about ourselves. That's why we do things in this organization, like go to Guatemala and volunteer at an orphanage. It's why we support the Red Door Shelter every winter with our holiday drive for household needs and gifts. It's why we experience giving in the world. So, we know about ourselves, and we see it in others, and that is when we awaken to our spiritual magnificence, which is really the goal, looking to awaken to our spiritual magnificence. Now, we're following the guidelines of that a lot of centers are following, where we've all taken on this idea that we're looking at themes for each week, and so I am still doing that. And the theme for this week was called Learning to Bootstrap. And I had to step back and think about, well, what does that really mean? And then I looked it up online. I love Google. Sometimes they call it Godgle, because it knows everything. I love Google. And so I looked up bootstrapping. And obviously, when you lift yourself up by your bootstraps, you get to move forward. That seems a little, for me, a little harsh. Like, I don't need to lift myself up by my bootstraps. If I know who I am, why would I need to do that? But there was this other definition for bootstrapping that I had never really connected before, but apparently it's used, and I'm a technical guy in the world of computers, right? And when you reboot your computer, it's also referred to as bootstrapping your computer. I never knew that until I looked it up online. I was like, wow. So here's the great news. If we are learning to bootstrap, what it is it's saying we are learning to step back into our default programming, which is love only. That is our default programming, love only, because we are the very expression of love. Each and every one of us is an expression of love, love being the creative power. And so when we step back, wait, did you say step back? Yeah. I did. As a metaphor, I am stepping back into love. Yes, I did stay step back. Yes. Oh, yeah. I love when my practitioners call me on things. Happens all, well, you know what? I used to do that to James Mellon all the time. The one day that I had to call him out, actually, I didn't call him out in service. I called him out, thank you for calling me out in service. I called him out.
I know it was, people were thinking it.
I'm sure, yes. Have at it. But I had to call James Mellon out after service. I went up to him and I said, James, in service you were talking about Star Wars. Did you really say that Steven Spielberg directed Star Wars in your service? Yeah, he did. Had to call him out on that. Anyway. I just didn't do it in so public a forum. Okay. It is. It's a manner of speech. It's a metaphor, and let's use it. I mean, we can use it, but let's also understand what it means. It's about taking that moment to bootstrap, to pause, and say, who am I? Right in this moment, who am I? I am love. I am love. when I remember who I am, all else falls into place. And so when we're in learning to bootstrap, take that pause to say, who am I? This is what spiritual practice is all about. You know, we call it spiritual practice because we still have to practice it. I still have to practice it. I still have to practice it. I have to step into my practice every single day so that I can remember who I am and allow myself to approach my day with that knowledge. So, here's the question. How committed are you to your own personal spiritual practice? What does it consist of? Does it consist of only showing up here on a Sunday? Maybe. Is that good enough for you? Maybe. If it's not, if you find yourself by Wednesday going, wait, what did he say? I don't remember. And oh, well, whatever. All right, I got to go about my life now. Commit more to your spiritual practice, whatever that means. We teach specific spiritual tools here. We teach meditation. We teach affirmative prayer because at the end of the day, our word is the creative impulse that love takes and says, all right, yes, yes, yes. And we simply affirm using our word that which we choose to experience in life. Awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are in a process of evolution. We are in a process of evolution. This process of evolution is a continued process of awakening. So where are you on that journey? Do you have your chart? Do you have your own sense of what your principles are? You don't have to agree with the principles that we teach here, but know what your principles are. You don't have to agree with the way we express and reference God, but know for yourself how you understand God. I'm not here to teach people what to think. I'm here to encourage you to step into thinking. Step into thinking and questioning and being critical thinking to say, is this really the way it is? Must I accept this? You know, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I do not accept what I see happening in the political spectrum in the United States right now. And you know what I get to do about it? I get to live my own life in a very profound way. I do get to vote. Thank God. I do get to vote. But I also get to know at the end of the day that we live based on one divine idea. That divine idea is everything that shows up is God. Yes, I will say this. Donald Trump is God. I'm now going through my whole mind of saying, don't ever bring up political candidates in service. I've told this to my practitioners, we're not supposed to talk about it, so anyway. But you know what? Every single candidate is God. And we must remember that. We must remember that. All right, you ready for another political candidate? Who is God? Oh, this is going to tweak some people so quickly. Adolf Hitler is God. He was misusing the power. He is someone who severely misused the power that we all have, the power that we all share. He misused the creative power ultimately to lead him and an entire continent down the road of destruction. You can misuse the power. I think when you're misusing the power, it's because you have not been following your chart. You're off. You're off your own sense of principle. I think that at the end of the day, he did it from a place that he thought was love. Oh, that's hard to hear, isn't it? It's hard to hear that. But that has to be the truth. Because at the core, all creation is bounded and flows from love. Now, I call it creation. It was a destructive force of creation. But it was still love that impelled that action in the world. Do you think that he thought that he was being destructive? Do you think that he thought that he was off base? No. And so, the more that we begin to recognize God within ourselves, the more we begin to be able to look out and say, this too is God. It must be. It must be. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. We are faced with things in our lives that are hard to face sometimes. Is anyone here? Well, I'll make this rhetorical. Think for yourself, is there a time in my life when I found it difficult to face some aspect of my life? Something probably popped right into your head. Because it's there. It exists in the universal mind, and we just simply recall it to our own individualized use of that mind. There is something for each and every one of us that doesn't feel so good. I can think of plenty. Now, allow yourself to reset. Allow yourself to bootstrap your own programming. Because whatever has happened then has no bearing on who you are now. Step back for a moment, breathe. Allow yourself to be reminded in this moment. Say to yourself, I am love. I am love. I am love. Let that resonate for just a moment. Allow your vision, whatever it is, for your perfect life to come to mind right here and right now. If you aren't sure what it is, allow yourself to go to that place of what does it feel like? What does the perfect expression of life feel like? And call to your own experience right here and right now, that feeling. And trust that you can. Breathing into this, know that the whole process of evolution is a continual process of awakening. And in this awakening, God, in its glory, in its magnificence, is revealed by means of each and every one of us, for that is who and what we are. This is what I stand for. I'm grateful for this knowledge, for this understanding, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you today. I'm grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. Namaste. I'm going to invite you to take whatever it is you're offering in the center today in terms of a financial contribution or an investment, your gift, your tithe, however you choose to express it or experience it. Allow yourself to recognize it for what it is. It is simply a reflection of your consciousness, of your conscious awareness, of your knowing. I am so grateful for what this center and what this philosophy has meant to me in my life. I give freely. I'm a tither. I give 10% of my gross income, not just to this center, but I give it to the world in places where I am spiritually nourished. And I'm grateful to have that capacity, and I have experienced for myself that when I step into that knowledge, it comes back to me. I am flooded with great prosperity, and I'm so happy for that. So I invite you to hold what it is that you're offering today. Recognize it. Know it as love. Know it as love. And this gift supports this center. It supports this message, and it supports this entire community in ways beyond what any of us can imagine. So as the baskets go around, we're going to sing What Do I Have? Another Pierre Gautreau original. And I invite you to stand up if you feel compelled and dance with us.
What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care?
And so I'll invite, as the baskets are making their way up, I'll invite Fred to do a blessing over the offering.
In this spirit of giving, knowing that the only currency is love, and that financial contributions are just energy in flow, in perfect flow. Just like the river flows, so too does currency. And I trust to know that as board members of this center, this currency is used for the betterment of the center, for the betterment of each individual in this center, for the betterment of this city, for the betterment of this country and our world. I trust to know that this divine giving with intention lands exactly where it's supposed to land. I'm grateful for that giving. I'm grateful for that love, energy, flow. I release these words to the law, knowing it is done, and together we say, and so it is.
What do I have to give? Oh, what do I need to live? Oh, what do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I give? Oh, what do I give? What do I give?
Thank you. You were handed on the back of your song sheet are the announcements that we have ongoing, and a couple of things that I did want to point out to you. We do have a Healing and Revealing Circle on March 10th at 7 p.m. right here at the center. I've talked a little bit about what that is. Basically, if there's something that is that you need healing with in your life, whether it's a physical healing, a financial healing, relationship healing, whatever it is, if you need healing, join us on that night, about an hour and a half of spiritual practice that we will work with. All the practitioners will be here. Well, not all of them, but the core of the practitioners will be here, and we will ensure that we all leave here healed on that night. So join us for that on March 10th. It's a Thursday night at 7 p.m. There is a Board of Trustees meeting today at 1 o'clock here at the center. Now, there's also a class that's happening here at the center at 1 o'clock as well. So those are happening. We're starting to do things at the same time. Because God bless Helen Valo, who used to be the president of our board. She is teaching class while she is no longer on our board because her term was up. So she will teach class, and the board will be out and doing board work. Anyway, the reason I bring the Board of Trustees meeting up is this. As members of the center, you are welcome to come and observe the business of the center if that is of interest to you. It is open for anyone to come in and take a look at what we do, in terms of motivating this center forward from a business perspective. That does make me think, too, we are continuing our membership drive. If you are interested in being a member of the center, if this philosophy, if this conscious awareness appeals to you, and this is where you want to take yourself forward for however long, you're not totally tied in. If you want to be a member this week and then decide next week, wait, I don't want to be a member, that's okay, because you're all at a place of choice. Anyway, we do have membership forms that are available for you out in the gift and bookshop. We are going to be honoring every person who signs up, whether you've been a longtime member or not. If you have signed a new form, we will be honoring you during the service on March 20th. So that's happening. Also, I'm going to have Susan come up and talk to you a little bit about part of the event that's happening on April 1st. Yes? Yes. I'll let you talk about it. Here's a microphone for you.
Oh, I can be a rock star.
Yes, you can be a rock star. You are a rock star.
Yes, I am. Hello, friends and family. My name is Susan, and I've been part of this magnificent place for a long time. And I've recommitted myself as a member and also stepped up for a very great event in our midst on April 1st, the ordination of Reverend Jonathan Zenz. And after the service, there's going to be one heck of a party.
Oh, yeah.
Food, fun, music, dancing, everything. There's a sign-up sheet actually right here. This is for the food. We're going to be looking for volunteers to bring dishes and also to help serve and clean up, and it's all in the works right now. But I just wanted to bring this colorful little chart to your attention. It's going to be on the information table beside the French doors here at the back of the sanctuary. And there's different items that you can suggest. We plan on probably about 100 people, or give or take a dozen or two. We don't want to have a whole lot of leftovers, but we want everybody to come and have fun and enjoy and let our spirits run free, whatever that may mean for you. So this sheet will be at the back. Please feel free to leave your name and your phone number. I will be in contact with you. We're going to try and balance it all out. We'll see what everybody can share. And we're just going to have one heck of a good time. If you see me wandering around here at any time and you'd like to volunteer, just give me your name and your phone number, and we're just putting it all together, and we'll be in touch shortly. If you have any questions, just let me know. You know, I'm always here. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, Pierre.
That event is on April 1st. Invitations will be going out digitally very shortly. Some of you may be saying, wait a second, I thought he was ordained last year. And the truth is, I did pass my ordination panel last year. I technically have been ordained for a year. But with the conference last year, we decided to put off the ceremony celebrating that. So now we're going to do it. Now we're going to party. One of the people that will be here to officiate the ceremony is my mentor in ministry. His name is James Mellon. And we're going to get to experience James Mellon in a way that you cannot even imagine next week in his one-man show, Sissy Boy. And Sissy Boy is being broadcast or live cast on the web, and we're going to do a viewing of it here as a fundraiser for the center. When I was in LA last week, I went to see Sissy Boy. All the reviews, all these fantastic, like 5-star reviews, are spot on. This is such a good show. It is touching and it is inspiring, and I guarantee that it is going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience for each and every one of us. I'm so excited to see it again. So that's happening next Sunday here in the room. We're going to pull down the screen and project the show, and it's live from North Hollywood that it's happening. So he'll be presenting it, and we'll be watching it. So that's next week here, 6 p.m. You can buy your tickets for that out in the gift and bookstore. All right. Anything else? No. Let's take a breath. Check out the rest of the announcements on your announcements sheet. There's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. We're the very expression of energy, and energy is unstoppable. It is always going on. So let's allow ourselves to step back into this knowledge, relaxing right where we are, allowing ourselves to step firmly into a deeper knowing, asking the question, who am I? And knowing the answer is fully present. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong.
where I breathe. God is breathing life in and out and through me, as me, where I sing, God is, where I dance, joy lifts my feet, where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me, as me. For where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. God is the answer. Here and now, forever. God is that very creative source within each and every one of us, that perfect whole. There is only one power, one presence, one creative source. I call it God, but I know it by so many names. I know it as love. I know it as the universal source. I know it as the creative energy. I know it as all things, and I recognize it in all things. Each and every one of us is a perfect, individualized expression of this infinite divine power. We are living its life, loving as it loves. We are expressing as it expresses, for there is no separation. There is only perfection embodied in each and every one of us, for perfection is the very expression of God. And so I know that all that unfolds is God. There is nothing separate from it. There is only love. And so I allow myself to move forward, and I trust and know that each and every one of us allows ourselves to move forward in our own perfect way, living lives of love. That we approach everything in life with love. We see love, we feel love, we experience love. That's all there is. And it is in love that I simply allow my perfect life to unfold, and trust it does for each and every one of us. Our perfect lives unfold. For this and for so much more, I am eternally grateful. I'm grateful for the vision that we are each of us individually creating a world that works for everyone by creating a world that works for ourselves first and foremost. And knowing that in that creation, when we know who we are, when we are living that life, we recognize and see it in everything. And we share this in community. And so it is in gratitude that I simply relax into this knowledge, relax into this knowing. And I am so grateful for all that has conspired to make this experience here happen today. I'm grateful for our board members, Linda and Yelka. I'm grateful for Lori setting up. I'm grateful for Mira cleaning up. I'm grateful for our greeters, Judy and Helen. I'm grateful for Marg in the bookstore, Dane on sound, Jim on our camera, on our webcast. I'm grateful for Harold and Helen, both serving in our youth program today. I'm grateful for Pierre Gautreau and the entire Queen Street Band, bringing their magnificence to the stage every single week. Today being no exception, magnificence embodied and expressed. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for our Charose and her beautiful meditation this morning. I am grateful as well for Fred and his brilliant words of wisdom. And I'm grateful for Jim turning the light back on.
So it is in gratitude that I simply release this word to the law, knowing it is complete, and the very speaking of it, I know it is so. I relax, I let go, I let it be so, as together we say, and so it is. Where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance my dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and live. God is. Truth is. Love is. God is. Thank you all. We're going to take it up a notch and kick it out into the street, literally today, with our final song of the day, Dancing in the Street. Thank you all so much for being here today.
1, 2, 4.
And feel free to get up and dance.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right for dancing in the street, dancing in Toronto, down in New Orleans, in New York City. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. There'll be swinging, swaying, and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing. They're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. This is an invitation across the nation, a chance for folks to meet. They'll be laughing and singing and music swinging, dancing in the street. Amsterdam and Berlin, dancing in the street. Hong Kong and BC now, dancing in the street. Can't forget the Motor City, dancing in the street. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. There'll be swinging, swaying, and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing. They're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Over in the UK, dancing every day they're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Let's form a big strong line, dancing get in time. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Across the ocean blue, dancing me and you. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. We're dancing in the street.
Keep dancing. Have a great week, everyone.
Have a good week. Go dance in the street.